First things first, thank you to everyone that's watched and spoke so highly of the week that was video that we put out a couple of days ago. And thank you for all the name suggestions. There was some absolute belters. Can't call it what's up or what's occurring or anything that's clever that has to do with what's, because obviously Luke and Geraint's podcast is What's Occurring, which is brilliant for two Welsh guys doing a podcast talking about what is occurring in the cycling world. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So, but there were some belters, and we'll likely run some kind of poll competition, and then the winner will probably get some kind of prize. I'm not going to promise anything, but the winner will get some kind of prize beyond a pat on the back and the satisfaction of having named a YouTube series. Anyway, this vlog is to talk about what happened in the Giro and why it went so cataclysmically wrong, and kind of why things have been a bit quiet since. So if you watched the last vlog that was in the Giro, you'd have known that everything was going pretty well. We'd had the big jersey, we were performing well, Dan Martin was doing well, Demarchi was doing well, and then on stage 12 it all came crashing down. Literally speaking, for Demarchi with a crash, which he's recovering well from, and for me with kind of the whatever was up with me really came to a head on stage 12. I woke up at 6 a.m. with stomach cramps. Was a bit like, this isn't great, but you know, we'll fight. Had seen the team doctor to say that things weren't right, and they understood, but ultimately there's not much that can be done a couple of hours before the start, other than I think he gave me something for anti-sickness and or something to settle the stomach, possibly, on a guess as to what it was. So I knew things were bad riding to sign on, and like as a pro, you kind of on race day you kind of self-analyze to work out if you got good legs or not. And there's tools like Whoop bands and Aura rings to tell you if you're good or not, but I'm on the fence as to them, because often I feel like they give you a self-fulfilling prophecy. But you kind of, you sort of roll off the bus, and those first few pedal strokes are like, is this good, is this bad? And generally riding to sign on tells you nothing. In this case, riding to sign on told me everything I needed to know. And I knew there and then that there was nothing I could have done that day to get round the Giro. And yeah, as you know, I was pretty devastated. So fast forward, I got dropped after a couple of K, got in the car after 30 or 40K. After another 20 minutes in the car, I started vomiting. I don't want to say it's a good thing, but it's like when something physical like that happens, you're like, oh yeah, I'm unwell. Like, something's real bad. There's no fighting my way through this. Then that settled, and then I got back to the hotel. I didn't have dinner, I just went to bed. And then I woke up at kind of 1 a.m. In a really bad way, and I went to the doctor's room. I've never had to knock on a doctor's door after hours, and I did here, and I was like bent over double on his bed, like with stomach pains like I'd never experienced before in my life, and that was. It's quite worrying. I was saying to the doctor, at what point do we go to hospital? Because this isn't something I've ever experienced before. And he, kind of at the last minute, the doctor sort of had a bit of a brainwave. He said, if you can bear with me and just try something. And I was like, at this point, I will try anything. When I got 2 cans of Coca-Cola, like full fat, full sugar Coca-Cola from the hotel bar, and it was like a light switch. Now, I'm not going to say I felt better, but I went from being in a lot of pain to like something I could manage and something I could like operate, or I could go back to bed, I could sleep for a bit before I woke up and drank another 2 cans of Coke. And then this seemed to get me home. I got on a flight the next morning, got back to the UK. Driving back from the airport, I started deteriorating again, and I was getting pain in my kidneys, and like, that was really, I was very worried at this point, far beyond like performance or the fact that I pulled out the Giro. I was kind of pretty worried for my health. A&E was not that helpful. I think they were more upset or more angry that I was there in A&E. They said I should have gone to my GP. I said I did. And the lady in A&E was like, well, what did your GP say? I said, well, if pain's bad enough, go to A&E. She said, and? I was like, pain's bad enough, that's why I'm here. After a day, went and got help, and there's probably questions over isolation and quarantine, and I was following all the rules with staying in. I mean, trust me, I didn't want to go out, but I had to go to hospital. And yeah, so for a couple of days I was in and out of Royal London Hospital in Whitechapel, having every test under the sun, and I don't know if it's more worrying, but we didn't find anything. And that's it's kind of like, in one way, is that everything's coming back. It's like your blood work's normal, you had a CT scan on, like, showing the kidneys and stuff, and it's like, that was normal. So that's good. And I was like, it was good, but it also doesn't explain it. Yeah, after like a week or two, I started to come round. Yeah, that was that. So it was real, yeah, it was pretty dark time, to be honest. And then came back up here, Chanel and Juliet came back, which was really sort of picked things up again. Then I had the first round of the COVID vaccine, back down again. That wasn't great. I suffered because I had COVID back in November, December. The reactions to the vaccine followed a very similar pattern to the reactions to having COVID, but in a much more condensed time frame. So what took 6 weeks took like 4 days. And the funniest one was on like day 4, I was just miserable. And I don't know if the word depressed is the right word, because that's like, that word is, yeah, I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I was down in the dumps. I was ready to quit cycling. I was just ready to throw in the towel on life, basically. But then I had a thought that, oh, actually, I had a period of this when I actually had COVID, and maybe we'll just wake up tomorrow and see what happens. And that's what happened. I was fine the next day. So yeah, so then that brings us up to today. There's a couple of bits which I'm not allowed to talk about yet, and I'll address that in another vlog. But yeah, it's not been much fun, really. It's right from kind of leaving a race and feeling like you've let the team down, to being worryingly unwell, to a point where cycling just goes out the window and you're actually just focused on your health. And then but yeah, I've got my family back and settled back in and started training again. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the year, which I'll come to in another vlog. So yeah, I think that's everything. Thanks for watching, and yeah, see you next time.